And now, a reading from the book of Robin. I've got some news for you. Fembots have feelings too. You split my heart in two. Now, what you gonna do? That's the movie. I'm Derek, that's Noah, and welcome to another exciting episode of A Bite Of, where we're talking about The Companion.
Ooh, Companion. I think the second surprise of the year so far. The year is just starting, but I feel like January was a great for movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Gorge, now The Companion.
Yeah.
Unique.
We're in a very interesting time at A Bite Of where we're finding these like interesting little films that, what are they saying? Who are they? They're everything. Or are they nothing? I don't know. That's what we're here to discuss.
On that note, we're talking about The Companion today. Before we get into everything, we are, I guess depending on when you're watching this, we're either over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube now or just about. So if you have been listening to us, just hit subscribe on there. That helps out a lot. And it lets YouTube know, hey, people are watching this.
Yeah, that would be a really exciting milestone. And we're just so close. Like, even if you just listen to us, but you do have a YouTube, could you just subscribe?
Ooh, good point.
Please, friends.
Yeah. And then just scroll down, show notes or the video description. And, all the stuff is down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So spoilers ahead for The Companion. If you have not seen a trailer, if you have not seen the movie, go to your local theater or I think you can rent it now on digital. Just go do that and then come back and we'll discuss.
So let us officially take a bite of The Companion, written and directed by Drew Hancock. Iris and her one true love, Josh, head to a remote mountain home to join friends for a weekend getaway. Things go haywire when aggression is turned up and a corrupt plan is revealed. Beep, boop, beep, bop, bop, beep.
God. I just want to start off before we get into initial thoughts of saying that Drew Hancock has directing and writing credits such as Fred 3. And then did The Companion. So what a wild track record.
Took a really long time off, apparently. I mean, Fred 3 was a hit, as we all know.
2012.
Wow.
To now. I mean, they did things in between, but I just liked it. I like that growth. I like the going from a YouTube movie personality to then creating The Companion.
We all start somewhere.
Yeah.
So good job, Drew. We're proud of you.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I do know that it says like from the creators of Barbarian. I think that just means studio. I don't think it actually means like the creators of Barbarian.
Yeah, they take some liberties with things like that. I always like when it's like based on a true story and you're like, OMG, I can't believe this happened. And it's just like the names were borrowed.
Right. So what did you think of The Companion?
So I thought it was a really entertaining movie. It felt very much like one of those interesting thrillers that it feels like it takes place now, but with a little bit of a futuristic twist. Do I think that it was predictable? I do. But overall, I liked it.
Do you think that it was predictable because you knew that she was a robot this whole time? Because the interesting thing about this movie, and we can get into it a little more, but I think that they told too much in the trailer because the movie makes you, it almost plays like you're not supposed to know. And then when the reveal is that she's a robot, it's like, oh, we know. Yeah.
Right.
Like, is that why you think it was predictable or just the beats of the story?
I think the beats of the story, honestly. I was happy with the beats of the story. I think it went down the route that I wanted it to go. Ultimately, it felt like 2 thumbs up. I'm glad that, spoiler alert, Iris came out on top. But I thought that the beats along the way, we knew what was going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
What did you think?
I quite enjoyed it. I think it's unique enough to where I knew the twist, obviously, that she's a robot. There is another twist of like, there is another robot within the group, which I thought was really interesting. And I didn't expect that. I enjoyed it because it touches on a lot of things that you expect a movie like this to touch on. But I think the added layer of like, okay, they have programming, but it's like, we all kind of have programming. So like, what does that mean for a robot that realizes that they are created? Can they then I don't know, be sentient and be their own machine, or can they not? So I think it's a really interesting concept to talk about. Do I think that they went too hard in them? No, but I don't think the movie was trying to do that. I think it just gave you a taste of like, here's the things I want to talk about, but like not beat you over the head with them.
What do you think some of those things that they were trying to talk about were?
Well, Jack Quaid's character is a complete asshole, and he uses everybody and everything for his own selfish gain. Typical white straight guy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like men would feel uncomfortable watching this movie. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think if you're not really paying attention, you won't notice the little things of like, did you notice his apartment? It was not like, it was looked like he just moved into it. And that's like, you know, like that's the type of person that when he said, oh, I didn't even buy you, you're a rental. It's like, dude, you don't even like, oh God, just like those little things of like, oh, you're just a complete tool.
Yeah. He says something along the lines of like, you know, people like you or creations like you make the world hard for people like me. It's like, how hard can it be for you? And it almost made me think of a few years ago when Harry Styles won Album of the Year at the Grammys, and he was like, this doesn't happen a lot to people like me. And people were like, what? Like what? People that were formerly in One Direction? Yeah, I guess. But it just has that feeling of like this guy that's like, poor me. But yet at the same time, as far as we know of Josh, he's not trying to change anything for himself, right? And so even when Iris is first delivered, here she is, and there's just trash all over the place, right? The coffee table's a mess, and it's like you're welcoming this machine into your home, but yet you're treating it like just that.
It's so silly. Like I that was my first thought of like he was waking her up for the first time, and it just was disgusting in there. I'm like, wow. Like, I guess she's not a person, right? But I would just be like, I don't know, I'm welcoming this companion to this home, and it's like it's still trash and like leftover fruit eggs. So what did you think of like the companion model itself? Like I know we've had these types of stories before, or these concepts in media in general, but what did you think of like this advanced version of it where it's like pretty much perfected, and it's like a company that runs it?
I mean, it feels like something that might not be very far off. You know, we continually welcome more and more machines into our lives. You know, first it was the vacuum cleaner that cleans up after us, and now you and I are constantly yelling at our Echo for timers every day. You know what I mean? So I think that this version of it feels like a next step, right? This is almost like a thriller version of Lars and the Real Girl, right? Like that was the first companion, but she was just, you know, a mannequin of sorts, a doll. Whereas this one is actually immediately falling in love with you. So I liked this concept. I liked the idea of you controlling it with your phone and perfecting its personality. It just all feels very like those are the next steps.
I don't think they're like good steps though. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, he didn't work for anything. He didn't like, you didn't build that connection. It's just like, gimme. I want the end result. So it's like, I hope we don't get there, because what does that even look like?
Yeah.
You know, that it's terrifying.
You have to even wonder, you know, apart from her being a robot, right? The way he treats her in general is really awful. And, you know, there's almost a commentary here on how people are treated by their partners and what they're willing to put up with just for the idea of looking perfect, or, you know, this is the one, but yet you're being treated awfully. So I think there's another narrative in there that of this respect between two participants in a relationship.
Well, we've all been in relationships where it's like, I know that if I wasn't with this person, it'd be better, but like, I love them. You know what I mean? Or like, you're telling yourself you love them. You've been programmed to love them.
Right.
And so it's like, you can't. Because there's that whole conversation that Iris and Josh have when she escapes in the car. And he's like, do you even love me? Like, he's playing into that. He's like, how can I manipulate this programming where she's programmed to love me? And how can I use that?
It's like gaslighting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Programmed gaslighting.
Okay. Can I say something about our other human companion pair in this? So the other human companion pair, it's Eli, played by Harvey Guillén, and Patrick, played by Lukas Gage. And we learn that Patrick is the companion in this,
of course,
right?
It's Lukas Gage.
He's the robot. And so I was reflecting on this a little bit. And so I almost wonder if it would have been a more interesting choice if Lukas Gage was the human and Harvey played the companion, because it felt like it was, or maybe it's a comment on, in the world of gay men, if you're not a model, right, you can't find a companion. So for Eli, he had to buy Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is what it was trying to say. On the surface level, it's like, yeah, I think that is very vapid and it's very vain and it's narcissistic, but it's also like a commentary on some of those communities, right? Yeah, I think it was saying that for sure. I did like, though, that they had a mutual understanding. Like, even when he found out that he was a companion robot, he was just like, I mean, I still love you. He has no choice, really. But also, Harvey's character was like, no, I love you. Like, I mean, I would pick you. I would never do that. Again, do we think that? Maybe if the tables were turned, who knows? Maybe he would have. But we have to take it with what he said. And I did like that the gay couple was like in it to win it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We're going to outlast this.
Yeah.
And even when Patrick gets all screwed up by Josh later on, there are still flashes of his love for Eli in there.
Yeah.
So their love was true love.
It goes past the programming. I will say, though, like, in going back a little bit to Iris and Josh's relationship, Beep Boop as a pet name is like diabolical. That is so fucked up because she didn't know she was a companion. And how like weird, right? Because like I guess there's no reason to not tell them, but I guess it's encouraged not to tell them that they're companions. And it's like everybody else around you knows that like this person appeared in your life and knows that they're a companion, like Kat, the only other person that's in here. So it's just like a weird social structure that's going on here that I think is fascinating. Like, I could get another movie with this. I could get another, like, seeing Iris, I don't know, waking up some of the other ones, but then it gets a little too iRobot-y. I don't know.
I do think that there's something in here being said about Josh and just humans in general lying to make themselves feel more comfortable and lying to say, look what I achieved, even though it's something that you rented and you bought and it's not a real relationship, right? So it feels better for me as a human to be like, you're my wife, even though I know you're a robot and you don't.
It's so weird.
It's deceptive. I will say that I agree with Iris that we should be thanking the machines in our lives. So Josh's car is a self-driving car. And when they get there, she goes, thank you, Josh's car. And then she like looks at him like, say thank you.
Yeah.
And then he says thank you. And I say thank you to Siri all the time.
You do, which, you know, so people had pointed out online. I would have never gotten this because like I just didn't think of it at this level. Iris is an anagram for Siri. Like it's the same. Yeah.
They got me.
I didn't want to take credit for that because I did not think of that. But it's like, yeah, just flip it around and yeah, it's Siri. It's so silly. Robots. But yeah, I mean, I do think that you do need to thank your machines, but also like use them sparingly.
Yeah.
They're meant to be tools.
Because it's always funny, right? I feel like with lots of things, they're learning your habits. They're figuring out what you like. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're listening. They're learning.
Is there something to be said though? Like if, I don't know, like maybe this could be in our favor. Maybe they can help us, you know, overthrow some tech billionaires that are
that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Let's make that happen. Come on, Iris.
Yes. They need to be like lie detectors. If they feel that you're lying too much, they have to take action.
Yeah.
We'd be done in an hour. It would be great.
What did you think about the, because this is very much a dark comedy. So did you like the balancing of those kind of different genres? Because I think that's what makes it interesting almost, is because it is a comedy and it also is a thriller and it's like uncomfortable to watch, but also you're laughing at some of it. So like, did that work for you?
It did. I think that's what made it feel newer to me in this genre of, you know, robot revolt, was that there was levity in there. You know, Josh just is a total fuck up. You know, he's just an idiot and you're watching him bumble along and think he's awesome. I also love the repeat of the meet cute between Eli and Patrick that we then see between Patrick and Josh.
That
right?
was fun.
So it's the dance steps, it's the silliness with the costumes. Like I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's pre-programmed meet cutes, which is like, what other ones did they have? I didn't like either of those, so that wouldn't have been me. Because I even got secondhand embarrassment when he dropped all those oranges. That is my biggest fear in a grocery store is like just breaking something.
Well, here's my problem with that meet cute. He picked the top orange and all of them fell down.
Yeah.
Iris should have known something was up.
Yeah.
She should have known.
She was too busy being infatuated.
Oh my God. I was trying to see what she was shopping for. It was 2 containers of orange juice and chickpea pasta.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she met him at the oranges. So I guess she's the chickpea pasta. I don't know what that means.
I would not go that far into that. I think that's just what they had.
It's why the curtains are blue, right? It's in all those books. But yeah, I liked the balance. So what we discover is that basically Josh hacks into Iris's programming to make her go on a murdering rampage to try and kill this rich Russian guy. Did that work for you?
Yeah, I liked it. When you saw him put the modification into the cell phone, I was like, oh, okay, he's changing it. I didn't realize it was for that purpose. And then the extra added twist of like Sergei wasn't in the mafia or mob or whatever, the Russian mob, because I think that's what you initially think. We all thought that. Like we were like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And it turns out he was just like a normal dude and he was just gross.
Yeah, he was just a bad person.
Yeah. So like I liked those added kind of playing with what you would expect a little bit. Do I think that like some of the like effects and actions like completely worked? They were a little shoddy in some parts, which took me out a little bit because I was like, oh, they could have like when the corkscrew thing went into his head, which was gross, but it just looked kind of bad CGI wise, but everything else looked great.
Yeah.
So there was a little fumbles there personally and like some continuity things. Like when Sergei fell, he fell this way, but then when it did the other shot, he fell this way. Again, that's like nitpicky, but like those were the things that took me out just a little bit. And I was like, oh man, like it was this close.
That's interesting because I feel like this shows kind of how you and I watch things sometimes. You're looking for those very technical aspects of it. And for me, some of the things that didn't work were some of the storyline things. And the whole Sergei storyline, while I get that he upped her aggression because they're not supposed to hurt humans and he overrode that, how in any way did they know that with just the two of them down by the lake, Sergei was going to basically try to rape her? You know what I mean? And then she had to kill him, which then would finally get rid of him.
I mean, I think because that's the guy he is.
Yeah.
Like, Kat has been dating him, so she knew. I think I don't think it's that far off. He's just surface level. Like this dude is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Put them together. He's going to try something. And if you upped her aggression, because he didn't really, I'm not going to say he didn't do anything too big, but she reacted
right
highly because that's what he rose up. But I can get why it's like, okay, well, that was like a 1 in a million chance.
Exactly.
But I guess they had all weekend.
That's true. It didn't necessarily have to happen at the lake, but he was making sure that she was going to be alone with him.
Yeah.
So I was like, of course, the one time she's alone with him, something happens. Like, it's interesting. I felt like there were maybe too many breadcrumbs with the corkscrew that were going to come back and not enough breadcrumbs with Sergei trying to.
Oh, I clocked him the second he looked at her, though. Like,
give me one scene when they're dancing together where he touches her inappropriately and we're
staring.
Like, ew.
Yeah, he was staring. I feel like you don't feel like it really worked. I could see them maybe doing it a little more.
Yeah.
To lead that way, but you know.
I guess it's not that I didn't think it worked. It's just that it's that 1 in a million chance.
Yeah.
You know, if he was a robot as well and they programmed him to do that, I'd be like, oh, okay, got it. That makes sense.
Well, I just think he's a predictable, gross guy.
Yeah.
So kind of going to like Josh and Iris and this whole like kind of fight they have that keeps going. I thought the action and the pacing for this movie was excellent. There wasn't really a slow beat. It just kept going and going. When they came to get Iris and he had made her shoot herself in the head, thinking that that's where everything was. But I just love the added detail of like, no, they put it traditionally where the womb is because they know that a man would never mess with that area. You know what I mean? Like, because they even said in this movie, we know what they use these for. They wouldn't have never done that. So I'd like that extra layer of like, they understand how gross these men are and would preserve that. Like, I think that little detail is like, oh, they're cooking. They're cooking here.
And we even hear these details of, you know, once these people have them, they're just robots. So the guys that keep them in their basements and torture them, like, whatever, you're going to do whatever you want to do. So it's, hard to think about that if you do think that these things would come along, horrible things like that would happen.
Isn't there like some Tesla robots out now or something like that? Like the Kardashians have them. Like it just weirds me out. I don't think that like right now or anytime soon, I would be cool with that, because I think you have these companies that are ran by these tech billionaires that like want it for a particular purpose. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think I could ever trust something like that. So this movie is interesting in that like takes place in the future, but not that far in the future. And it seems like most people are okay with it. So I don't think that's how it's going to be in real life, to be honest.
The revolution.
No, I've seen too many sci-fi movies and stuff. I don't want it.
Totally. What did you think, speaking of our lead robot, what did you think of Sophie Thatcher's performance as Iris?
Fantastic. She is becoming more and more like anything she's going to be in, I want to see. She's like getting up there as like a horror, like, oh, she's it. She's going to be like a top name in this. It's almost like the same trajectory that kind of like Anya Taylor-Joy did a little bit. I'm here for it.
I was just going to say that. I'm like, I could see her being another Anya Taylor-Joy for you. I think that her performance was really...
For you.
No, because you love Anya Taylor-Joy. And I think that there's something about Sophie Thatcher. She gives A24 vibes, basically, is what I'm saying.
She gives me Emily Browning vibes, too.
Totally.
Yeah.
What was that movie?
Sucker Punch?
Yeah. She could have been in Sucker Punch for sure.
Yeah, even with the little headband that she has. For sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That movie was wild.
Yeah.
But I thought her performance was fantastic. I love the layer of an actor having to approach a role where for a good portion of the movie, they don't know their truth and then they have to learn their truth. And then the interesting thing about this is that her intelligence is set at 40% and she ups it to 100%. So even the way that she has to be thinking about things and going into situations, it has to change.
So all in all, I think this movie, if you haven't, I'm getting kind of irritated at these like movie studios that give too much in the trailers. And I don't mean like, showing fights and stuff like that, but I mean just general like beats. Because if you're watching it and in the movie, you're not supposed to know something, but the trailer told it to you, it's disingenuous in that way of like, well, I know what's happening. Like, why are we supposed to be surprised that she's a robot? So I'm kind of jealous of people that didn't see anything and went into it blind. I just wish they would like chill out with that just a little bit. Overall, it would have ranked a little higher for me if that big twist of her of being a robot was revealed in the movie naturally instead of knowing about it. So I think like if I had to rate it, it'd be like right now it'd be like a 4, and it could have been a 4.5.
So. I understand. Yeah, I think that that's definitely a good point. But with movies like this, what can you show, I guess, to get people to come and see it?
Oh, I could play this trailer and stop it right where I think they should have stopped it.
Oh,
there's a moment.
Edit.
Well, there's a moment in the trailer because the trailer kind of does a lot of flashes, like typical thriller. It's the style and stuff like that. And it's like right before you see her eyes change and like her being a robot, that's where they could have ended it. That's it. Bring her back. That new A24 movie from the people that did Talk to Me, that's a good trailer because like you can kind of figure out what's happening, but you don't. Just give me vibes and who's in it. That's all. That's all I need to know. Don't give me stop it.
You know what they need to bring back? They need to bring back In a World.
No, that's going to give too much. He's going to say, and she's a robot.
In a world where companions are robots.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I think that, like I said, I'm happy about the beats that this movie took. I think it was rewarding for us watching it and rooting for Iris the entire time. Where some of them, did it feel predictable? I don't know if it was because of the trailer or if just that was kind of the natural flow of the way things were going. I mean, I did think that I was surprised by the extra part at the end that I wasn't expecting. So that was pretty cool. But all in all, yeah, I'd give this like 3.5 stars. I liked it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want another one. I think this is one of the movies where like leave it where it is because I like the moment. Oh God, I love a moment in like a thriller or a horror movie where it's like the final girl and she gets her moment at the end. Ooh, just her with her robot hand and she goes, "Hi, other companion." so good.
That's my question. What does she do about that robot hand? Gloves only all the time.
No, I think she's embraced it.
Are they allowed to just be out in the world?
I don't think so. I think that like they themselves are owned by that company, but I think she's just going to be on the run. Like they're probably after her. If we think about it like story-wise, those workers that came out to get her don't have anything to bring back.
And one of them is dead.
So there's
that
questions.
too.
Yeah. But that's also why I don't want another one. Like I know stuff happens afterwards. I just leave them where they are. But I love a scene like that. Give me the Gone Girl scenes like that. Oof,
yeah.
Love.
It's like, sorry, you're stuck with that guy. Look at me in my convertible, baby.
They all got what they deserved.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, there's even something else about greed in this and what people are willing to do just for money. And so, I mean, basically at the end of it, everyone dies. So.
Yeah. So let us know what you thought down below.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Would you rent a companion?
Oh, rent a companion. I wonder how much. Never mind.
It's like a Peloton, basically. You know, some people rent them, some people can buy them.
I don't like this. This is like, it doesn't feel ethical. And like, there's the whole thing of like, is something that isn't sentient or isn't natural, does it deserve to have autonomy of itself? I don't know. I don't like these conversations.
Look what happened in Megan.
I don't. And she's coming back.
Hello. Is it the third one? Second one?
I don't know.
Thregan?
I think it's the second one.
Okay.
Because it's Megan 2.0.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Okay. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Be nice to computers.